Are you ready for the grid to go down? Well, it could, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Good morning. Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. How are you all today? Hope you have a good hot cup of coffee or whatever it is you drink, because if the grid went down, you'd have a hard time making the next one, wouldn't you? Well, let's talk about that a bit. NOAA, which is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, just put out, and I put this article over on the Patreon channel for those of you who are with us on Patreon. So the strongest solar flare event ever recorded will soon cause disruptions on Earth. That happened on the 14th. Today is the 16th. And with it are generated CMEs, or coronal mass ejections. Now, this is of great concern, and many of you are familiar with CMEs. Some of you are not, and many people are a little bit, but not a lot. Whenever this comes, that's why I want to talk about this. Whenever these things happen, I notice that other channels talk about it, and rightly so. It's good that they do. The more that people are introduced to this, because this is a global killer. This is the ultimate thing for which we should prepare. But they don't have. They get a lot of things wrong. Okay, let me just put it that way. They get a lot of things wrong simply because it's not that they try to, but whether it's the length of the event, the amount of time the grid would be down, how many people would die. They get these things wrong simply because it's not their primary field of interest, right? As it is mine. CMEs are my primary field of interest, as those of you who have read my books know, the Stonemont series. By the way, you guys are just killing me on this. I spent all day yesterday signing books, and those will be mailed out today until my hand got cramped. But I love doing it. I tell you, it's my favorite thing to do, is to sign books for my readers. If you're not familiar with the Stonemont series, it's our sponsor, my books, the books that I wrote. First one came out in 2017. It is about a global CME, CME global killer. Everything goes down. The reversion, the revival, the renewal, and appeal to heaven, blessings of freedom, and hostages to fortune. That's what they're about. And you can get them through Amazon. The link's below, or you can get them directly from me, and that link is also below through our website, stonemont.us, and then I get to sign them for you. And I like doing that. Well, anyway, that was just a little bit of explanation. Why am I talking about it? Because this is my particular area of interest. Now, I don't know the science behind it as well as many others, and we have some of our great people on the Patreon channel who do understand the science. And if you're interested in that, please go and listen to them. I'm sure they'll post some stuff on this. What I am interested in, and what I am knowledgeable about, is how to prepare for it, how to survive it, and how to come out the other end. That's what the books are about. I say they're the complete guide to preparing for, surviving, and rebuilding after a complete collapse of everything. Now, the things to understand are, there is a difference between a man-made EMP and a CME, a coronal mass ejection. I'm not going to get into those right now, because those aren't important. The thing to understand, that if we were hit with a Carrington class or above CME, everything goes down. Okay. Now, your car might work for a while. These things are still theoretical, but we know that long lines, everything else will shut down. The grid will shut down. You'll have as much gas in your car as you have in your car or stored. Okay. The pumps aren't working at the gas stations anymore. There's no lights. There's no running water. There's no gas delivery. You say, well, why not gas? Well, because when you take it back to the original source, well, not the original source, which is the Earth, but when you take it back to the delivery system, that's run on electricity. If the grid goes down, you're done. Okay? You have what you have until it's out. No more food coming. All these things. You know this, right? You have what you have. And the thing that concerns me is some misinformation coming out on other channels. They'll say that I've heard them say, well, your electricity is going to be out for, could be out for several months. If the grid goes down and enough of our major transformers go down, which they would, we are without electricity until industry returns. Okay, wrap your head around that. Until industry returns. How does industry return? How do you get industry back with no electricity? How do you rebuild transformers without electricity? And they're not made here anyway. I've gone over this many times. I think they're made, the major transformers, in South Korea and Germany for a while. I think some were made in Brazil. I don't know. That doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters. What matters is it's down, no electricity. People dependent on electricity for life-preserving activities are dead within hours. Okay. Another thing. So here, what I'm saying. Let me back up. We're not out of electricity for a few months. We're out of electricity for years. Now, here's the other thing to keep in mind. And how many years? I don't know, 10, 20, until we get it back. Sporadically, and I explain this in my books also, small groups will be able to reinstitute electrical generation and delivery, small groups on small scales. Okay, and the reason for that, is, okay, I'll insert this here, is because it'll take us back. Again, I heard somebody else say it'll take us back to the Stone Age. No, it won't. It won't. The Stone Age. It'll take us back to pre-electric times. It'll take us back to the 1840s. Okay, people lived well in the 1840s, but people nowadays used to living with electricity aren't going to do so well. Okay, so those are a couple things. We're going to be out of electricity for years. 10 years, 20 years, who knows? But the reimplementation of industry is what's going to bring it back, and that's going to take a long time. Now, here's the second thing, that the Federal EMP Commission estimated, and I've repeated this time and time again, but as these things come out, I need to keep repeating it. They estimated that 90% of the population in the affected area would be dead within the first 12 months. I won't argue with that. And that's from, starvation, bad water, disease, violence that accompanies societal collapse, all of these things. Because there's no police, there's no fire, there's no emergency medical care, none of that. And so 90% die off within the first 12 months. I have no reason to dispute that. I mean, I would think that could be low, knowing people like I do. So, whether, and I've heard people say, 50% will die off within 3 months. Who knows? But the majority of people are going to be dead within a year. Is that going to be you? That depends on your preparedness. One of the things that I put up today's question over on the Patreon channel. By the way, if you're not with us on the Patreon channel, come on over. It's only $1 a month, and we'd love to have you. And there's so much more over there than there is on here, including an article that I just put up over there in addition to this one, the NOAA article, about we are apparently entering the, and what did they call it? An ice age termination period. And they're tracking this, global warming, right? The end of an ice age. Things are happening. Increased releases of methane from the earth, not from cows and not from us. But anyway, over there, come on over to Patreon. You'd love it. You'd get a lot out of it. Come be a member, and you'll be glad you did. But the question that I put up in today's chat, because we have a chat feature over there, that I put up every day. I'll start off with the date and then maybe a question of the day. People can talk about it, answer the question. They can talk about other things too, but that's the general line of it. And today I put up, are you ready for grid down? And if you're not, what things do you need to do to be prepared. Again, if you've read my books, it gives you the entire plan, everything you should do. And many of the people in the chat, of course, have read my books. Many of the people on Patreon, many people here I know have read my books. And that was a question. If the grid goes down in 2 days, are you prepared? And if you're not, and these are great times to kind of make a mental checklist. If you're not, why not? Well, I won't say why not. It's just because you haven't prepared enough. But what would you need? What would you need to be as prepared as you want to? I mean, realistically, not like, I want a ranch in Montana, and yeah, I mean, if that's what you want, good. Can you get it in 2 days if you don't already have it? And what can you do? These are great things. So this serves two purposes. It helps you focus on where maybe you're a little bit thin in your preps, but in the chat over there, it will also help other people as people, say, okay, I'm a little light on this. Maybe somebody else hasn't even thought of that. There is a lot that goes into real preparedness, and so often, I talk about how a lot of people, a lot of channels, whatever they seem satisfied with splashing around on the surface. Real preparedness goes real deep, and it takes time, it takes money, it takes direction, it takes determination. It takes wanting to actually do it, not just splash, and go over and over and over the same old things. It's multi-dimensional, it's multi-layered, and so this allows. And I talk about total preparedness, and I'll always get people come on, and a couple of people will say total preparedness is impossible. See, those are people who have not gone deeply enough, and they haven't read my books. They have not gone deeply enough to understand the many things that can be done to actually prepare yourself when everything goes to pot. And those things they can be done. They have been done by many, many people. They are being done now by many, many people. And it should be the goal everyone should have. So this helps. And when I talk about integrative preparedness, that's it's the name of my company, it's the name of this channel. What that is everything integrating together. So as not just to prepare you for some catastrophe in the future, but to also improve the quality of your life now. And you do that by separating yourself from dependency on external interrelated systems over which you have little or no control. So this solar flare, the largest ever recorded, we're in solar cycle 25, by the way. We're just coming up to the midpoint, and it seems like it's becoming more active than they had anticipated. These are reasons for it's something to keep your eye on. It's reasons for concern, certainly. It's not a reason to go jumping all around, the sky is falling, but it could be. I mean, if you're not ready, the sky could fall on you. And but what it should make you do is it should kind of focus you on what you need to be doing. Okay. So, these are interesting times, real interesting times. It's not as if we don't have enough to keep on our minds on other situations, right? I have another kind of associated topic that maybe I'll do on another video, but I'll leave that for another time. Realize this. If the grid goes down, it'll be more horrible than most people can imagine. You have to realize that. And I explain that. Again, here. I keep mentioning my books, but that's what my books are about. See? And too many people are out there talking about things they really don't know about. And I won't say they should stop talking about it, because it's good that they get people interested. But they should learn a little bit more about what they're talking about. Okay? The Stone Mount series. there you go. There's your complete guide, your complete plan for preparing for, surviving, and rebuilding a life worth living after a complete collapse of everything, in this case a CME, and that is what we're thinking about right now. Links are down below, Amazon or directly. I like it when people get it directly from me because it lets me sign the books. Like I said, I ran out. You guys ran me out, but I'm putting in another order. So everybody who's already ordered, they're already on the way. But you can go ahead and order because I'll get another load of books here in a week or so. Take it seriously, guys. Take it seriously. If it doesn't happen, good. You won't be disappointed that you prepared. But if it does happen and you didn't prepare, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. So go with that and run with it. What do you need to do in the next day or so in case this does happen? They are expecting this. I'm recording this on December 16th, Saturday. They say we're going to start seeing the effects of the CMEs generated by this solar flare later this afternoon, and then for the next couple of days. It could be simply minor radio disruptions, communications disruptions, maybe glitches while you're watching the football game. We don't know. There's no way to know. But what we do know is that this solar cycle is becoming much more active than they had ever anticipated. And you never know when the big one, and I don't say that lightly, you never know when that global killer is going to come. If you don't want it to kill you, get ready. Take preparedness seriously, because your life is worth it. The life of the people who depend on you is worth it, right? Okay. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. So if you want to live well tomorrow, get out there and prepare well. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.